Speaking of LA, though, it segues perfectly into our next segment, the Oscars, or as some people know them, the Oscars. The nominations have come out. What do we all think of the nominations this year?
It wasn't a classic year for movies, basically. I haven't seen. I have to admit, I still haven't seen True Grit, which I still have hopes for. But it's a sort of worthy but not outstanding group of films, I think.
I don't think there's any real surprises here. I mean, I think kind of Ryan Gosling not being nominated for Best Actor for Blue Valentine is absolute nonsense. I can't understand why that hasn't happened. He has received nominations before, but he should have won years ago. I think he is the best kind of actor in America. Today.
Really? You think he's the best actor in America?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anyone else who's as unique and who can inhabit roles. I mean, I think he's obviously kind of a bit. He's obviously a bit of a serious actor, but I can't think of anyone else.
Guy Pearce. He's not American, but Jeff Bridges.
Ryan Gosling
has got to be up there, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Ryan Gosling has never done a movie where he's done. I mean, he doesn't do that many movies, but I think he's never done a movie where he's been anything less than absolutely convincing. And I think
Steve Guttenberg.
Of course.
If that's
Steve Carroll.
Ted Danson.
It's just the Steves.
That's the benchmark.
Carrot Top.
Carrot Top.
And also,
what about James Franco?
I mean.
He deserved a nomination this time.
Yeah, I think I personally, if I have to take one of the two kind of I'm Trapped in a Small Space films that came out last year, I'm taking Buried, the Ryan Reynolds film, which didn't get any nominations, I don't think. I mean, it might have got a technical nomination. But that is an amazing film. If you haven't seen it, you need to download it illegally tonight and then pay for it when it comes out on DVD, because it is incredible. It's one of the most thrilling films I've ever seen. And Ryan Reynolds, who is effectively a tween actor, who's just, who until recently was married to Scarlett Johansson, don't let that put you off. This is one of the greatest acting performances I've ever seen. I know I'm using a lot of hyperbole at the moment.
A little bit, yeah, but we'll go with it.
Ryan Reynolds in Buried as a man trapped in a coffin. The film never leaves the coffin. That makes it sound awful. You've got to see it. It's an incredible film, incredible performance, and he should have not only been nominated for an Oscar, but he should have won.
How long is it?
Hour and a half.
How long is a
trapped
coffin?
in a coffin for an hour?
How long is a coffin?
Yeah, I can relate to that.
This actually is a coffin that we're in now.
What's the perfect Oscar movie, Mike?
Well, I think The King's Speech comes pretty close to it, and that's why I think it's probably the favorite for the Oscars, because Oscar loves disability, actors playing disabled characters, are good.
That's right.
Oscar loves uplifting stories, and every 20 years or so, Oscar loves uplifting British stories.
Yeah.
I think
Why
it's.
Why didn't Seabiscuit win?
Well, Seabiscuit wasn't British and didn't have a disability.
But it's an uplifting story.
It was an uplifting story.
But this is incredibly minor disability. I mean, a stutter is a real lowering of the disability.
Now, in fairness, Colin Firth plays it as a very major thing, and I think his acting, he's going to get Best Actor. I think that's probably a slam dunk. And I think he's very, very good, very, very convincing, and manages, despite not being a weed the way the real King was, to convey that sort of inner weediness. Although he's much too fit and good looking for the role.
All right, quick brainstorm now of the what sort of minor disabilities do you think would be perfect Oscar bait?
Tourette's.
I mean, I can't believe that. I can't believe that hasn't been done.
Let's write it tonight.
Yeah, I think we totally should.
Who do we cast? Forget the plot or anything like that. Who are we?
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
Rip Torn, surely.
Rip Torn. Dolph Lundgren.
Lundgren's been crying out for this.
Lundgren's he's a
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But what hair lip? Would you watch a film with someone who's
well, you keep saying minor disabilities, but Oscar has loved major disabilities. Blindness. Everything but the Elephant Man.
Racism.
Oh, that was a great film.
It was a great film.
David Lynch.
Maybe his best movie.
I completely agree with that. I'm a huge Lynch fan. I would argue that could well be his best movie.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, that one, doesn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. And Lynch, speaking of Lynch, I'd never realised this until a couple of weeks ago. He was originally in the frame to do Return of the Jedi. If you guys don't know if you heard this.
No,
really?
Apparently
he was genuinely in the frame to
direct Return of the Jedi. He was busy with Doom.
Yeah, Doom, which was a disaster.
Yeah.
You can only do one big science fiction
Speaking
movie.
of disasters, let's talk Charlie Sheen, because we've referenced him about 55 times. Okay.
Charlie!
Let's end this podcast with a bit of sophisticated style. Charlie Sheen.
Headline, Lindsay Lohan is worried about Charlie Sheen.
Oh,
this
no.
is true. There's not enough drugs for both of them.
You know you're fucked when Lindsay Lohan is worried about you. What is the problem? What is your favourite Charlie Sheen excuse for his obvious addiction problem? There was all kinds that were coming out from his publicist. He was laughing too much was one of them, which is great at something, which is just brilliant. I love the way that the publicist, with a stony face, just kept coming out with this unbelievable bullshit. And the interview with the porn star as well that came with Sheen, and that was just brilliant.
The thing I liked was according to Casey Jordan, right? She goes up with him. Charlie's smoking the crack. Charlie's drinking the vodka. They have what she called quick sex. He writes her out a check for $30,000. She runs out of the hotel room and cashes it. Now, where do you cash a $30,000 check? I don't know. She comes back and then he asks if she'll babysit her kids. His kids, with Denise Richards. Now my question is, $30,000 for quick sex. Yeah. I mean, if we did that with my wife, I'd owe her like $3 million, right? But anyway, does that $30,000 include babysitting?
Interesting point.
Do you know how much harder it is to find a babysitter than to find good quick sex?
I mean, that is a modern quandary, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
It's just it's a question of manners and etiquette, I think.
I think we might hear that on the Thought for the Day on the
Denise Richards. Denise Richards apparently texted.
Is it ever okay to get a porn star who you've just recently had sex with?
Well, she said no porn.
Kids?
She said no porn stars were going to look after her kids.
Oh, that's.
Denise Richards said that.
Yeah.
She texted Charlie Sheen to tell him that.
Well, that's displaying a surprising lack of self-awareness.
Exactly.
No porn stars are going to ever look after my kids.
If Charlie wasn't so blasted, he would have figured that out himself and texted her back.
I just think, there's I think men kind of want to feel a connection with Charlie Sheen because he's leading a rock and roll lifestyle in a kind of quite a prurient age where that kind of thing is frowned upon nowadays. But he just seems to go a bit too far with it.
Yeah.
And also, he's never chilled out. He's never stopped. There was a time. Did you ever hear that story from about 13 years ago where he tried to buy a gun in Glasgow? That's apparently true. My other favourite Charlie Sheen story is that he started an FBI investigation in 1985 into snuff movies, the possible existence of snuff movies, because he was really blasted at a party one time. Someone gave him a VHS, which was this Japanese film called Guinea Pig Killer, and he was so convinced that it featured a woman being dismembered in it by a samurai that he immediately called the FBI.
Sooner or later, the lawyers at CBS are going to have to do something about this, although his show is apparently still their most profitable show. So they don't want to do it. What they'll do is cancel the show and then do a reality program, Charlie in Rehab, and do a second reality program, Charlie's Angels, following up on all these hookers.
Yeah.
2.5 men and a semi.
Okay, quickly, who's the biggest, how do I put this diplomatically, up in Hollywood history?
Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah, I mean, he went too far.
Yeah.
I think, didn't
it
he?
wasn't his. I mean, he didn't actually do it, but given what he was blamed,
what happened to him,
given what he was blamed for, his career just he wound up directing.
Lots of people have done lots of stupid things. I think Martin Lawrence's determination to go jogging, wearing every piece of clothing he had in his house at the time.
You're making this up.
That's completely true.
You're on fire.
He nearly had a stroke.
What?
He was on a lot of drugs at the time. He needed to lose some money. Yeah, this is apparently true. Yeah. But he needed to lose some money.
Lose some weight for a film.
He needed to lose some weight for a film. Thank you.
I got to lose some money for a film. Well, I know a lot of guys will let you invest. What about Roman Polanski?
Oh, well, yeah. That's a bit weird. We're not going to talk about that on this show.
Do you think Charlie Sheen has ever actually done Mr. Sheen when there's been no drugs in the house?
Yes.
Do you reckon he's ever halved it?
I reckon he got a major league. He got all 3 major leagues in his private cinema and just binged on on Mr. Sheen.
But I love his excuse. He goes
with Barry Sheen.
Well, who wouldn't? But he when he got lots of criticism last week for the amount of drugs that he was doing, he said, what's the matter, dude can't do his job and have a good time. Also.
That's right.
And apparently that's also what George Bush said about the invasion of Iraq.
Okay, we're going to end it on this. Martin Sheen, Barry Sheen, Michael Sheen and Charlie Sheen in a 4-way.
And Emilio Estevez.
Who walks out Estevez. Let's put him in there. He's a Sheen, technically.
I think Martin's going to win.
You reckon?
Got a bad back. I think it's Charlie. Charlie feels no pain.
True, he could properly lemmed up and wouldn't feel a thing.
I reckon Charlie's being rushed to hospital with stomach pains.
Yeah, I'm going with Estevez. On that note, everybody, this has been Americarnage. Happy Super Bowl, everybody. As we said at the top, catch Mike Carlson on the BBC. What time are you on air, Mike?
11 o'clock, I believe.
11 p.m.
Kickoff's around 11:25.
Is there any kind of text or Twitter facility there? I just want to be heckling.
Not that I know of, but I would
We'll work out a way to get to him, Dan. Thanks, gents.
Bye.
It's been a blast. We'll see you next week.